Good morning, goeiemorgen, Kiara, and to my Etonian friends, aware guys and girls. This morning, lovely morning, about 8 degrees Celsius outside. The house is a bit warmer. It's a bit colder than yesterday when we went fishing, and I'm glad about that. Good morning, Elaine. Good morning, Dion. Lovely morning out of Welcome Bay. Through my window, typical start of the winter morning. So a bit misty outside. That if you are in Transvaal and those places, or I don't know what you call it these days, Gauteng or something like that, you get that early morning mist lying along the sides. That's probably what I'm looking at now. So very much the same there. Start of our raining season, but we haven't had any rain yet. So yeah, this morning we're talking all about money. My name is Jan Viljoen. I'm a financial advisor. I'm not an immigration advisor, so I'm not going to tell you anything about immigration this morning. I'm going to tell you a lot about money. And sorry if I run too quickly through a lot of stuff. So I'm gonna ask you that you ask me your money questions that you do have. But no, Dion, I haven't had a haircut yet. I have made an appointment, to be quite frank. So hopefully on the fact, as you can see, still extremely long. I don't normally wear my hair like this. I've been a policeman for about 8 years of my life, and if you have been a policeman, you get used to not having hair as well. So it's one of those things that just stuck with me. On the flip side, I'm glad I'm not a policeman anymore, to be quite frank about that. So this morning, looking at money, money is running down. The rand trading at the New Zealand dollar at about 11.32 this morning. It's not a good thing for people coming to New Zealand. It's a very bad thing. You've lost a lot of money. To people going from New Zealand to South Africa or paying money over to their parents, that side, it's probably a good thing. So, all right, I don't want to make the reasons on why I'm good and a bad thing. I mean, you all know probably why it's a good and a bad thing. Um, One of the things I want to talk to you about this morning is savings as well. New Zealand doesn't have a massive culture of saving. This is one of the flip side of a first world country. um, they don't feel the need to really save. Money has always been quite available. Money's always been um, easy. Money's always been cheap, if you want to call it cheap. Mortgages is about the 3% or something like that. You can get a car for 9%. In South Africa, my house was something like 11% of interest. I think my cars was about 13, 14%. So if you just go into your local dealer, you can get it at 9%. And that's for vehicle. Rubber ducks, jet skis, caravans, basically all at 9%. Mortgages takes a bit more work on, and these goes down to about 3-4%, depending on how much upfront deposit you can give. So, and if anybody has any questions regarding mortgages, we've got a brilliant guy that helps us out with mortgages. So, shout if you need any help there, that side. So that is the one side. The flip side, about not saving is there's a lot of people that doesn't have a lot of savings. This is the one drawback. And I mean, we as South Africans, we had the Sanlam, the old mutual, all these guys always hounding us to save a few bucks. And even if you just save 50 rand, I remember my first savings was 50 rand a month. Goodness me, that was hectic. I struggled to put 50 rand a month. I'm talking Yonkers down back in about 1990, 50 rand a month. That time with a policeman's salary, it was absolutely crazy. It was absolutely crazy. Yeah, you can't do anything like that. You can put your money into the bank at about 2%, 2.5%. That's about what the bank gives you. And then from our side as a financial service, and this I'm using my South African company for this, One Rock. I'm still a financial advisor in South Africa as well. We do Allan Gray Australia. Now, through the South African company, I can put you basically anywhere in the world. But I love Allan Gray Australia, the Australian dollars, which is a strong currency. They don't have a lot of rigmaroles. They've got a very easy system. They've got a very easy system where you can see exactly what it's going to cost you, where they have been. They don't have tons of different funds, and you don't need to be a financial genius just to understand an investment that I would do for you. So financial investments you can easily understand if you go into Allan Gray Australia. It's just as easy as that. From our currency partners side, they help us put these money over directly from South Africa into your Allan Gray Australia side. So that's as easy as that. There's no hiccups on that. Very much the norm to have a saving on that. But the problem there is they can only start saving once you have 10,000 Australian dollars in there. So keep that in mind. It's also easy accessible. Your money never have to return to South Africa. That's the other positive about this, because we do not want our money to return to South Africa. All right, that was on the saving side. And if you are now thinking this morning about saving some money for the future, for yourself, for another COVID-19 problem, I'm going to greet Andre now because I want to ask him a question. If you're going to start saving money for whenever we would have a problem like this again, probably the best thing to do is to save 6 months of salary somewhere, easy accessible. Not in your Ellen Grey Australia. It's very much accessible there, but that is a longer term investment. You want to have your money for emergencies. If the car needs new tires, that's also an emergency. Stuff that you haven't really saved for. This is where the 6 months of saving of your salary. If you're earning $5,000 a month, 6 times that is $30,000. Probably a bit over two. You could probably get away with about 4 months. But worst case scenario, if anything bad happens, you would want to have 6 months behind your back. That will just tie you over. So I want to say good morning, Andre. I wonder if Andre actually saw that I caught a fish yesterday. He was the one that kind of carried me the whole time there. Few people didn't see the end of the video. Presumably it cut off too early. I don't know why. But that fish was released yesterday. I'll probably just post in the last part again. So the action part, I'm so glad I caught that bloody fish yesterday. It would have been bad to do 30 minutes with no fish. So that would be, yep. So glad about that. Um, I had a few questions this week as well on wills and what happens with wills, what happens if you die here. Um, I would actually like to get Vanita on the show one morning to let's talk about a bit about death. It's a horrible thing to talk about, but currently people are dying, and it does happen. I've heard about nobody that ever escaped this life without dying. So thanks, Andre. Um, if you die in New Zealand, you need a New Zealand will. If you die in South Africa, you need a South African will. It's as easy as that. If you have assets in South Africa, you still need a South African will. If you have assets in New Zealand, you need a New Zealand will. And an asset could be anything from that $1,000 car you bought all the way to your kids. And don't understand me wrong when I say kids are assets, but the will determines what happens to them in case you cannot tell the people what have to happen with it. So if you and your wife die together and you've got your three lovely kids down there, what's going to happen to them? And that's what your will is then. And the will pop out and say, ah, the kids must go there, there, and there. Normally, those people who is supposed to have the kids will also get back and contact the local authorities, and on that part they will refer back to the will. If that is what the will says, then that is fine. So I see Dion has asked, can we just take out a new retirement policy in New Zealand and let our currency policy funds be transferred? Or is it best to cash out? The problem with the policy or retirement policies in South Africa is you need to financially immigrate. And we've got a company that helps us with that, and they do charge you 9,500 rand. That's rand for the whole family to do your financial immigration. That's when they go to the Reserve Bank, they go to SARS, they take you off the SARS roll, they move your money over. And that takes about 9 months. It's really a long process. That's really a long process. It's not an easy process. And that's basically the only way you can get a retirement annuity, RA, as they call it in South Africa. That's the only way you can get a retirement annuity out. If you've got any of the other stuff, the savings and those type of things, take that out before you do your financial immigration, because you don't want your money to be tied up for 9 months about. Because what happens, they open this bank account and everything goes in there. As the RAs get paid out, the money goes in there, and that bank account lies there until the final thing has happened, and then they pay that over to you. I'm just going to try and see if I can get this camera down here. I'm moving my hands around like a crazy person, and I can't see that either. Probably not the right way to do this morning. All right, camera just fell over, but that's fine. We'll live with that. So, okay, you've got assets in South Africa. You've got to have your will there. You've got assets in New Zealand. You've got to have a will here. You've got to have two different wills. If you've got stuff in the UK as well, you've got to have a third will. But that's just how it works. If you've got assets, let's say, through Old Mutual in the UK or in the Isle of Man or one of those places where your good financial advisor has told you to put the money. You don't need a third will for the UK. That will be handled by your South African will as well. So Andre saying, I have an old mutual retirement. Do I transfer across or leave it running? You can either leave it running, it's running at rands. If you should stop it at any time, it will continue on running because it's in funds where that's invested somewhere. But you are running at 11.32 this morning to the dollar, so keep that in mind. To give you an idea, somebody sent me a note the other day asking they want to bring, or the way I want to come over as an investor, what's the amount of money that it got? So I said, the last time I've heard it's 3.5 million New Zealand dollars. And they said, oh, that's 35 million rands. I said, no. In a few, let's say 2 months ago, there was about 33 million rand. These days, it's 38 million rand. This is a small amount that the rand, the dollar has lost. It's cost them 5 million rand. It's hectic. It's hectic. Sadly, I don't give any immigration advice, so I just told them to please call Immigration New Zealand or Vanita if there's any more questions regarding that. I can only give advice that I know of, or I can tell people what I've done myself. So, sadly enough, I didn't have 35 million rand to buy myself into this country. Let's see, any other? Andre, yeah, basically just to bring your old mutual retirement funds over to New Zealand. That's what my thought is. Pay your 9,500 rand with a financial immigration company and get it this side. If you're home in New Zealand, it makes sense to build money in New Zealand dollars. It doesn't make sense to build your welfare into rand, because once the rand goes down a further notch or two, you lose a lot of money. Myself has got another about, I think, 200 or 300,000 rand lying in South Africa. Sadly enough, I did not move it. It was my own stupidity, and it has lost a lot of value. So luckily, it's not more than that. So, but I feel for people who still have to come over. If you are paying money over to your parents, you probably have to pay less over now for the same, to get the same bang for your buck back in South Africa. We did wills. Let's talk about to the banks or mortgage advisors. You can get HPs or car. You can borrow for your vehicle. You can borrow for your caravan. You can borrow for your jet ski. You can borrow for basically anything in this country. And money is cheap. It doesn't cost a lot to pay that back. As I said previously, about mortgages about 3 to 5%, and bonds or loans on cars is about 9%. That's I'm paying 9% to my one car that I bought on the company name. So yeah, money is cheap, but on the other flip side as well, you don't want to go into a lot of debt. Being a new person or a newcomer to New Zealand, you didn't want to really go into having a lot of debt, because that could be detrimental to anybody else. And even in your long run, if you've got bad debt or a lot of debt, you could probably not get a mortgage. Keep that in mind. They just won't keep on giving you money. So um, on the car loan side, they sometimes ask for a small deposit of something like $500. That is, if you want to buy a car. I know a lot of South Africans come through and they want to buy this $1,000 cars. There is $1,000 cars here. Some of these cars has got a lot of problems that you need to fix before the time. Some of these cars has got outstanding WAFs. That's a warrant of fitness. That's just to show that the car can go on the road. If you can't buy that, if you can't buy a good WAF on the $1,000 car, it's probably not worth your while to go for that. So let's see on the flip side if there's any other. Andre asking, is it best to save money on the money market or in the normal bank account? Andre, basically both of them offer you just as little. You can go to your bank and ask them for certain savings, how can I say, saving instruments they have there, and that is bank accounts. But sometimes your money's got to be there for the future. You've got to be in it for 3 months, got to be in for 6 months. So just keep in mind, if you're saving your 6 months of salary, you do not want your money to be tied down that much. You don't want your money to be not accessible for 3 months or for 6 months. Think about how quickly this coronavirus lockdown came. There was no warning. There was basically no warning. We had 2 weeks, and that was that. And in 2 weeks, you could not save 6 months of salary up. So April asking, do you have any advice on property investments in the near future? Property investments, if you are buying a property, you can buy a property in New Zealand once you are a resident. Same with the KiwiSaver. You can only get a KiwiSaver once you're a resident. I'll tell you more about KiwiSaver now. The property, keep your credit clean. Keep your credit clean. I see they've dropped they dropped the deposits that they wanted on properties in the past. They've dropped that quite a lot. It's called LVR. So they've dropped that quite a lot, and people can now buy properties with lesser deposit. But it still goes all about who you are, what debt you have, and so on. And a lot of people fall into the credit card debt. The credit card debt accounts against you totally. So if you've got a credit card with $5,000, and even if there's no money spent on that, but it's still minus $5,000 against you when they do your scoring at the bank. So let's keep that in mind. Um, Dion asking the average percentage on investment in New Zealand. Average percentage is about 2 to 3% if you go into the bank. You can actually do property investment where you buy into property companies, but the money is very, very much tied up there. Tied up for, I would say, well, conservatively speaking, the money would be tied up for about 12 months there, to be quite frank. Any idea how long New Zealand will be in level 3? We're still here in another 2 weeks, then we will know. So another 2 weeks before we even have that idea. Benita saying on the news the other day, they addressed the excess of motor vehicles that are 1, 2 years old, especially from car rental companies. That is another big thing that's going to hit this market. Is I think there's way too much cars here with, and some of them is way too old. So somewhere along the line, they'll probably start scrapping some of these cars. Very much the same as they did in England. I'm not saying they are going to, so don't go and buy a lot of old cars wishing they would scrap that. But that will be the only thing that makes sense to me. Or they are going to um, offer you, let's say, better interest rate or something. But the other thing around as well, thanks Anita for reminding me on that. There's a lot of companies that offer you interest rate of 0%. You just got to buy the car through them, and you repay that, let's say, in 3 years' time at a 0% interest rate. I know, is it Holden or somebody had a 1%? Holden is going out of the country now, so I won't really buy a Holden, to be quite frank on that. I don't know what the future holds for Holden. Holden's not going to make cars that can be driven in New Zealand anymore. They're only going to go on the left-hand market side. So, or left-hand driven cars side now. Other companies that are offering you weird repayment offers. They've got a 3-year repayment year. You pay one third over 3 years. There's no monthly repayment. So if a car costs you $30,000, you pay 10,000, 10,000, 10,000. Probably not a bad thing if you think after the first 10,000 you can actually sell the car and get out of that if you need to. But always not a good thing to sell a new car that quickly. So let's see if there are any other questions down here. No real questions popping up, new questions. I'm going to go back to the average on investments in New Zealand. If you are with Alan Gray has been quite, they run between 5, 6, 7, 8, sometimes even 9%. But that is also depending on your risk appetite, depending on how long you are going into this investment. Although Alan Gray is not fixed up, but most investments that is in this longer run, I would actually say, guys, you've got to be 3 to 5 years into an investment to make it really work for you. That's one of those things. Take a step back. KiwiSaver. KiwiSaver, on the other hand, if you drop in $100 per month, plus you must got to be a resident. If you drop $100 per month, after about a year's time or a certain time of the year, they check every KiwiSaver and then they add another $521. That's just from your tax money. So that is just another way to say thank you for saving. But that's probably the only type of real saving and real growth here. So even if your KiwiSaver growth over the period of time has been 0, you'll still be earning $521. Now on $1,200 and take $521 is about 40% growth. You're not going to get it anywhere else. That's why I say take your KiwiSaver once you're a resident, even if it's just for $100 a month. And if need to, I can also help you with those things. So Bonita saying, and in pure right, she's saying the New Zealand and the world is preparing for a recession. Sadly enough, that is so. Smaller countries or countries with weaker economies has already gone into a recession. You are technically in a recession if you've got 2 quarters and a year's got 4 quarters. So you've got, out of these, you've got 2 quarters of negative growth. That is whatever your growth was but it's on minus. If you've got two of these, one after the other, then you're in a technical recession. That's what they call that. So, yeah, New Zealand had good growth there the previous quarter. This quarter, I think we must wait till figures come out, but it could be that we are going into a recession, and it's just a recession that has been caused by people losing their jobs, people not working. So there's no real money turning around. You need money to go around. I mean, you earn money, you go to the butcher, you buy it. The butcher goes back to the abattoir. The abattoir guys pay his stuff. That's the root of money. The money has to go around. Once money starts stopping, that's when you have major problems. Andre saying, but we hope for job opportunities to come up soon again. Andre, yeah, you're right. I've seen some. Seen some jobs already appearing in the market. Some weird jobs, see driver jobs, those type of things. Jobs that I thought would have already been filled by this time now. But it looks like there's quite a big need for courier drivers. I'm not saying you're going to get a visa for that. Please don't quote me on that. But I'm just telling you about the jobs that are available now. That's coming available. Some of my friends have got jobs during this period of time. Also higher paying jobs, if you want to call it that. Uh, Vanita's saying they reckon it's going to take what 5 years to recover. I reckon the world will take 5 years at least to recover from this. There's no quick fix on this. But I want to put a big but here. The New Zealand government has already pledged billions of dollars for new projects. This is when this is how you kickstart an economy. So economy grinds to a halt, whatever it was. In the past, it was the World Wars. It was the Great Depression of 1933. A lot of other things. We had the property bubble in the 2000s. But a lot of other stuff. Every 7 years, there's something bad happening. And this now we've got Corona. So after Corona, you restart your economy by getting new jobs out there. So you get jobs, you get people that can be paid, you get people that can take that money and spend it somewhere. That is how you restart jobs. And it looks like this government has already earmarked a lot of things. I see somewhere in Northland they are going to spend $20 million on a new water reservoir. Then they are looking at projects 10 million and upwards from every council area. Now 10 million can do a lot of jobs. I just hope there is these type of projects that's ready to be rolled out. And this is the one way to start your economy back up. This is the one way just to get stuff up and running again. And there's no easy way to restart the economy. That you can either print money, and I think that's what America will do at the end of the day, is to print more money. They've got the economy to absorb that. Smaller economies like New Zealand and, sorry, I got to name them, South Africa, if they start printing money, that means they devalue their rand or dollar, and then everything just goes haywire. So these two economies, for them to restart the economy, they have to add jobs to the market, and real jobs that's sustainable. It doesn't help you just having a job for 3 weeks or so. It must be a longer period than that. So let me see. There was a question. Vanita saying 200,000 jobs losses estimate 15 to 30%. Immigration New Zealand saying 27% of job losses. Um, this has happened, I think, in 2000 in Ireland. Very much something that's similar to this, and they are still at the deficit in Ireland after all those years. I mean, it's 20 years down the line. Guys who bought houses in Ireland and those years, it was also at a very unnatural high, has still not made back the equity. They still owe the bank more than what their houses are worth. So it's a hectic circle if you want to talk that way around. So I don't want to be the prophet of doom and gloom. So let's say we hope this will get better very, very quickly. So I really hope that we are totally wrong in all our figures, and yeah, let's hope we get that better. Uh, Nita saying she saw someone posted a new visa issued yesterday. I've also seen one or two visas issued. I just wonder how do they issue them, because your visa has got a date that you have to be in New Zealand. Do they do that for 3 or 4 or 5 months prior? Um, let's hope that's a factor, because I mean airplanes aren't flying. I can promise you. I look over the airport here. There's no planes, none at all. Dirk saying he's in the infrastructure development market, and there's a lot in the pipeline. I fully agree with that. I've spoken to people in councils as well, and they said they've got big projects lined up, and government is willing to give the money. So it's a big difference between having projects lined up and not having the money, but having projects lined up and having the money. And currently, it looks like the government's really going to put the shoulder to the wheel and really chucking a lot of money in there. So let's hope that happens. Uh, Andre Marie saying, is plumbing going to be on demand soon after this? Andre, I don't know. The big thing is we will have to have a look and see where where the whole economy goes to. At the end of the day, you will still need workers. You'll still need workers. You probably it could be that you don't need them now. But that's a bad side about that. Because first of all, they are going to try and fill the positions from inside themselves. And with the country being closed, they will have to fill the positions from inside themselves. So it could be that for the next foreseeable future, they take local people who didn't have jobs in the past, or local people who was retrenched just prior to COVID-19, that they'll take them and employ them back in the market. It could also be that the government runs new training type of areas for plumbers, for electricians, but everybody knows this takes time to get these people qualified and to get them out in the field. So it's not a quick fix. Say, come tomorrow, we'll teach you how to do plumbing, and the next day you do plumbing. It's not a quick, easy fix. That's the sad thing. So I don't know. I don't have figures out of this, and it doesn't look like anybody really has figures how many plumbers are out there that's out of work that could be re-employed. So if the demand is there and the flights are there and Immigration New Zealand is back working and South Africans are allowed back in the country, then I can't see any reason why they won't take people from abroad back and get them up and running if there is a demand. But the big thing is, there's got to be a demand. If there is Kiwis that can do if there's Kiwis that can do the jobs, then in the long run, that is what they are going to use for a startup. So Benita say we still need people in civil and construction, IT roles, and high-valued people. The big thing is that it's easy to say we've got a job, but it's not always easy to fill the job. And some of the jobs just need people that is totally qualified for that specific position. And if there ain't somebody like that, you just don't easily. Let's think about a doctor. Let's say New Zealand needs 20 doctors tomorrow morning. Will they be able to find doctors that are unemployed yet? I say no, they won't. Will they be able to find doctors that are unemployed outside of New Zealand, India, South Africa, England, wherever? Probably yes. Will they bring in the doctors outside? Yes. So that is all about. It's all about demand. It's all about demand. But until we haven't got flights, we won't be able to meet that demand. All right, guys and girls, that was Friday morning. From next week, we will only be having 30 minutes with Jan on a Tuesday, and we will have that on a Thursday as normal. On Tuesdays, I would love to go out to the little towns, little rural places, and if you are from one of those little rural towns, please get hold of us. Please talk to us, get us that we can tell the people that the little towns in New Zealand has got a lot of potential. I've actually seen a few little towns, and thanks to everybody who was on the show in the past with their little town. So, yeah, there's a few towns that I think I could probably live in, although I love where I am living in Tauranga. So, beautiful day out there. The sun never appeared during the pitch yesterday. He's back out fishing this morning. He's left at 6 o'clock. He actually caught yesterday. He said he caught 7 snapper, but only kept 1. He brought back 2 John Dories, which was quite nice. And then the stingray I told you on the show that we saw down, he actually has a very nice video of that. So I'll try and wrangle the video out of him to show you guys all about that. All right, that's me this morning. Thank you very much. It's a lovely weekend. I probably will be fishing tomorrow morning. So if I catch anything, I'll post a photo or 2, just to show Andre how to catch more fish than just 1. Yesterday was actually a fluke. I was quite lucky to have that one. All right, guys and girls, thanks a lot for listening to me during this, what was it, nearly 5 weeks that we had daily talks. You kept me alive, you kept me well, you kept me sane, and I think you kept the wife sane as well. So you kept me from talking a lot during the day as well. So thanks a lot. See you all. Have a lovely day. Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.